freaking first cut. Golly.
Welcome to the First Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman, and this is your round 3 recap for this week's WM Phoenix Open. And joining me, yes, to break it all down, it's him. He's back. It's the coach. Coach, you've been doing great stuff over at Early Edge. That little sport, what's it called? Football. I think it's coming to an end here shortly. Very excited to have you back.
And to prove that I am the consummate gamer, Rick G, I was working all this week in Los Angeles. Rooftop, Marina Del Rey, the Marriott. And who's the guy sitting with you on Saturday? It's not KP. It's not anybody else. Certainly not Mark Immelman. It's your boy, because I'm committed to the first cut. So let's get to the round 3. Let's go.
Let's get to round 3. Unbelievable day, Coach. I mean, listen, tomorrow there's going to be eyeballs on the Super Bowl. I get it. This day of golf with Sahith trying to fight off everybody, the chase pack behind him, the crowds, does it get any better than this outside of major championships? This is unbelievable.
This has become, at least for me, and it sounds like for you too, the event of January, February. You know, it's almost for me, this is when the new season starts. We got the fall, we got a couple of events in Hawaii, but this is the week, because this is when it gets warm. This is when all the top players say, this is the event that I'm playing. So it's going to be very, very interesting, because Mr. Thagala, he managed to stay like this today, but it's only Saturday, Rick. What's going to happen tomorrow when he's looking behind him at Koepka, Scheffler, Cantlay, Schauffele, Matsuyama, Hoagie, who won a week ago? That's the next 7 names, along with Mr. Gooch right behind him. We're going to see exactly how big of guts, so to speak, this man has on Sunday.
Sahith is at 14 under par. He is 1 shot clear. He is a sponsor's exemption. He's the 318th ranked golfer in the world. The next 8 golfers, as Coach was laying out, their combined OWGR 166. Coach, they've won 7 of the last 17 tour events combined. It's a pack of wolves trying to chase this guy down, and he could have ejected, Coach. He could have ejected. He made double early in his round, and then he kind of hit the reset button a little bit. He was able to make birdies at 6, 7, and 9, and his up and down from the backside of 18 to close out his day was all world. Very impressed, because we could have been talking about him in T12 right now.
If he goes on to win tomorrow, he's going to look at 18 as the reason why, because that thing was so off on his approach. And then you got the entire crowd around. You got everybody watching you. You're playing with what I call the big game hunters. So the fact that he was able to get that up and down was really, really nice. And I think we'll set the stage for him coming to tomorrow. But when you look at a guy like this, who he does have a second-place finish so far in the season, but it certainly, Rick, was not at a tournament like this. It was not at a tournament when you got all the top players in the world behind them. And I'm trying to figure out, and I know we're going to hit on in a couple of minutes, as I look behind him, who Mr. Sahith should be the most scared of. Well, to me, it's the guy that's right behind him, because he's your defending champion. He's been incredibly, not cocky, but confident the last couple of weeks, and Brooks Koepka is showing that maybe all of his issues are now behind him.
And he's the favorite. According to our friends over at Caesar Sportsbook, Brooks Koepka is plus 333. Sahith is plus 550, but that chase pack is plentiful. Last thing before we move on to Brooks, here's a quote from Sahith. He said, I'm still not over that I'm playing with these guys. On the first, while I'm like, what? I'm playing with Xander and Brooks? How good is that? I do like that he got a little taste for it on Saturday, because he's going to have to do it again on Sunday, but a little starstruck on the first tee.
And how can he not be? I mean, these guys now, they don't have the luxury, like if you're a young kid, football fan, basketball fan, you don't get to go from high school and then 2 years later, you're playing with guys that you watched on TV. There's a very, very, very select few of those at that level. And in golf, it's even rarer that you would get to those. I like when somebody doesn't act too cool for school, as I call it. Why shouldn't he admit to it? Because this is where he always wanted to be. And I'm quite sure if Xander would have been in this position 5-6 years ago, he would have felt the same way. So I love that quote.
We're going to get to the rest of the leaderboard here, but something special happened at 16. We don't get it, but this is what everybody's waiting for when they run out there at 5:30 in the morning. Jacob, Sam Ryder, the hero. Let's play it. I don't know if we have sound. So if we don't have sound, Sam Ryder to about a few yards right of the cup. He spins it in, Coach, and the place goes absolutely bonkers. Caddy jumps into Sam Ryder's arms. And then, of course, as we've seen is tradition, beer bottles, beer cans everywhere on the ground.
I saw somebody on Twitter posted a tweet, and it was a still shot of all of the bottles on 16 after this, and they said John Daly has arrived at hole 16. I thought that was pretty funny. But if you're not going to win a tournament and you're not going to be in the top 10, the next best thing at this event is to do what Sam Ryder did today, because he got interviewed on CBS by Jim Nantz after it was over, and he said, I don't even really remember the moment because I was so in my head and I was going absolutely bananas. I cannot even imagine, Rick, what that must be like. And by the way, did you see the other day, the Bachelor, Matt Adams?
I saw Matt James.
Can I make a quick PSA? Because I don't feel sorry for any photographer that is dumb enough to stand in front of an amateur golfer who clearly, if you look at his practice swing, never plays golf. I don't feel sorry for anybody being right there. I do not. So this atmosphere, it gets the best of everybody, whether it's a pro golfer or whether it's the Bachelor.
I've played with a lot better golfers than Matt James, and I have stood nowhere near the angle that those photographers are. I don't trust anybody out there, Coach.
No. You remember when Charles Barkley famously, when he did it a couple of years ago, he said, why would you stand there? You see my swing. I would say the same thing about Matt.
Very true. Okay, let's talk about some of the Lions trying to chase down the leader here. We talked about Brooks Koepka just a little bit, Coach, but as you mentioned, he's the defending champion. He's won this event twice. He has not played particularly well leading up to it, but it seems like once Brooks gets kind of into the heat of the battle, once he's in it, he's engaged, he's focused, and it's really hard to shake him. And we kind of saw that here on Saturday. It was a 68. He played out of a lot of bunkers, but he was still able to cobble together a 3-under round and get himself into the final group.
I'm not sure why it takes so long for him to get it, but let's be honest. When you look at some of the great athletes of other sports, sometimes it takes them getting into the mix and then to forget, oh, wait a second, I'm not supposed to act like I enjoy this. Oh, wait a second, I'm not supposed to act like I want to beat the next guy. My biggest issue with Brooks, and I'm starting to fall to his side of the fence, I like his swag. I like his confidence. I like the way he goes about his business. But why does it take having to have a good first round in order to be engaged? Because we've seen Rick, if he doesn't have a good first round, he kind of drifts. And he's good with the T35. But when he's in the mix, then he wants to win. To me, he's the one that I should be targeting if I'm all those guys behind on the leaderboard, not Thigala. I think Thigala is going to go backwards. To me, if I'm Scheffler, Cantlay, Gooch, Schauffele, any of those guys, to me, the lead right now, 13 under par.
Ooh, it's hard to argue with that. Let's talk about Scottie Scheffler because he had the round of the day, moved up 41 spots thanks to a Saturday 62. And Coach, that round was great. Scottie was great, but I think this is truly an illustration of what we could see on Sunday because he started on the back nine and he went out in 29. And when you have two par threes, you have the drivable par 4 17th. We have seen countless times on Sunday at this event, the leaderboard gets a shakeup late because there's a lot of opportunities. Scottie Scheffler showed us what you can do when things go right, but I think this is a bigger story into the way this thing might finish on Sunday.
You know what's kind of funny is that last year at this event, in the final round, it was Scheffler and Xander playing in the final group. We all remember that, right? And our compadre at CBS Sports HQ and all these different award-winning podcasts, Will Brinson. And if Scheffler would have finished and won, he would have won $200,000. So right. Do you think this week that I mentioned that maybe once or twice when I was hanging out with Will Brinson? I did. So can you imagine him looking at this leaderboard right now and having severe PTSD over what happened 365 days ago? I think so. Scottie Scheffler is one of those guys that, the old saying, you win 80% of your money and 20% of your tournaments. That's who Scottie Scheffler truly is, because he can go out there and do like today and shoot a 63. But can he do it 2 days in a row? He's so up and down. He's like a teeter-totter. We just don't know. But he's certainly a guy that you can look at because he shot a 59 before and say, yeah, he can certainly, gain that 2 shots to win tomorrow. So he's certainly a guy that's very, Rick, very, very dangerous. And I love the point that you made about him playing. We always see 1 or 2 guys like this that play on the opposite side because they started, 8 or 9 shots back.
The rest of this Chase group, I mean, it's hard to go through every single one of these guys. Cantlay, Gooch, Xander, Hideki Matsuyama. Tom Hoagie won last week. Max Homa is here. He's going to defend next week. I mean, it really is. I can't remember a time, Coach. I know this field was good, but you're talking about 7 of the last 17 PGA Tour events have been won by guys who are within 3 shots of the lead. I can't remember it stacking up like this in quite some time.
Well, I think that this tournament is now. You remember, it wasn't that long ago, Rick, where a lot of players were saying, you know what, I'm not going to go play there because I don't like how the crowd doesn't respect that I'm hitting on 16. I don't like how the crowds want to yell and scream. And now, because of the course, because of the different finishing holes, because look what we had today. We had Cantlay going in the water on 17 and getting up and down for par. We had Xander 6 inches away from going in the water. He still only parred. So all these different holes and the way they go about it, I think these top players are realizing now this is a not just a top flight golf course, but the way it finishes, everybody has a chance. You can be down 2 shots going into 16. You still have a chance. And so when you look at all of these guys, and I'm starting to believe in trends. I'm starting to believe that whoever's playing hot, let's ride them until we don't. Because all the guys you just listed, they have been in form for a while.
We're going to try to handicap this thing. We're going to do our best. I think it might be chaotic, but we're going to do our best. But quickly, we're going to take a quick break and hear a word from our partners. And we're back. All right, Coach, we've got to figure this out. We've talked about the depth of the top of the leaderboard. Brooks Koepka plus 333, the man at the top. Sahith Theegala plus 550. And then if you're really feeling frisky, you could get Hideki Matsuyama at 11-1, only 3 shots back. Or if we talk about the Brooks Koepka lead, only 2 shots back. If there are dollars to be placed on this event here on Saturday evening, where do they get allocated?
I'm going to say that the same thing I said a year ago. Is that I think because of the quality of leaderboard, I can only go back 3 shots. But then what happened just a year ago, Brooks came kind of out of nowhere and went bananas on Sunday. But I picked a guy all the way back to 9 because I think maybe if somebody shoots a 62 or a 63. So at 9, I'm putting some money on Louis Oosthuizen. At 10, there's only one guy at 10, and that's Eric Higo. So to me, that's out. Then the guys at 11, I'm not taking Max Homa. I would take Adam Hadwin because he loves this course and plays great at this course. And then I love Hideki also at 11. And then the guys at 12, I mean, you got 4 to choose from. They're all heavy hitters. Gooch just won not that long ago. But I'm going to go Xander from the 12 guys that I would put into my lineup if I had to.
Xander's the one that caught my attention. 6.5-1 at Caesar Sportsbook. He had like 2.5 bad shots on Saturday, and it cost him 3 strokes. That's kind of hard to do. I think he got unlucky when he had his bad shots. He probably doesn't do that again on Sunday. If you like Hadwin, 33-1 at Caesars. And Louis,
wow.
How about this, Coach? Louis, 100-1 if he can pull it off.
If I've ever,
that'd be a nice way to lead into the Super Bowl.
If there was ever a sprinkle, that would be the one. By the way, have you seen the cross sport parlay, Rick, of under Mixon rushing yards and the winning score for the champion on Sunday in round 4?
Okay, so like if someone goes out and shoots 62, it's correct. So Mixon under 62 rushing yards.
Correct. So his number right now is 63. But if you see what I'm saying? So it's an interesting bet. It really is.
There's so many good ones. Many good ones. I think I saw winning score of this event and Joe Burrow's passing yards or something like that. It's always so good.
Love it.
We are in for an unbelievable sporting day. Coach, it's good to have you back. Thank you so much as usual.
I cannot wait to be back on Tuesday. I'll be back every single Tuesday. And I respect all of you guys, but the one I'm really waiting to get under his skin, once again, my man Mark Emmelman. He's in my sights, and I'm ready to come back at him every Tuesday afternoon. Let's go.
It's good to be back. It's good to be back. We will be back Indeed, after the final round of the WM Phoenix Open to break it all down. And producer Jacob, big thanks to you doing all the hard work behind the scenes. That's the coach. You can find him on Twitter at the Coach Rules, and you can find me at Rick Run Good. This has been the First Cut, and we'll catch you next time.